Ladies and gentlemen, episode 100. Give it. Let's just give us. I mean, I'm clapping for myself, but Jesus Christ, this is a little bit ridiculous. You know, I did not think we'd make it here.
Yes, you did.
I did. As a matter of fact, when I numbered the files, I numbered it like episode 015, you know, and 028. So I was like, I was hoping for triple digits, you know, like, I'm not going to lie to you, but, you know, and not to throw new people working on cool projects under the bus, but so many people are like, yo, I'm starting a podcast. And I'm like,
fuck you.
No. I'm like, call me at episode 20. Like, I'll help you with whatever you want, even now, like, whatever. But call me at episode 20. At episode 20, you have a podcast, you know? Like, episode 7, like, you started a project and then it didn't end up happening, you know, and blah, 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 blah. So, like, call me at episode 20, right? So this is 100. So now when someone's like, oh, you got a podcast there, little guy? You're like, yeah, 100 episodes.
Yep.
Bitch.
Yep. It's kind of crazy because, you know, I was always... it's a tipping point, kind of like when you can say, like, I'm a magician. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you do magic tricks? Or
That's
like,
exactly what
magician,
I mean, right?
You know what I mean? Like, I have the confidence to be like, go look at my Instagram and look at my episode list and talk to me.
Yeah, you're like, I got a podcast.
Yeah.
So,
and like
cool.
4 people at least listen to this.
At least 4 people. Yeah, maybe even 5 depending on the episode. So pumped about all 5 of you. And thank you guys. We got some fun things to cover. But before we do that, let's catch up a little bit. How's your last month been?
It's been pretty good. I've been not doing so much magic, but I did have a gig yesterday, and I am working on a magic show, not as the magician, coming up this week, which I am very excited about. Yesterday, I did the Vaughn wedding convention. I believe it's what it was called. Yeah, there was basically couples and bridesmaids and moms and daughters and people were coming around and trying to find services for their wedding. Wedding people, yes, were coming around and trying to find services for their wedding. And I was representing a company called Bongo and B. They're an entertainment company that my brother-in-law works for. And I was just doing magic for people and sort of directing them to the booth. And that was my first time ever doing that sort of Magic for sales, yeah. And it was interesting. It was definitely a good learning experience. I'm happy I did it. I don't think it went as well as it could have gone, but it was my first time. I mean, you know, you gotta practice.
And like that's, you know, it's a whole other world of magic, you know, like doing magic and being like, hey, come to my booth. You know, and there's a lot of people who do that sort of thing very well. And
I also learned you need a lot more visual things. I really was like, okay, I can do standing magic. That's fine. I have a lot of in the hands card tricks. And then everyone was walking around with like pamphlets and binders and they were like full of all this free merch. And they were like, okay, yeah, let me set down my life on the table and come meet you.
That's why there's a difference between cocktail magic and walk around magic, right? They're cocktail magic and restaurant magic because, you know, when you're walking around and mingling and they have one free hand basically, right? So like all of a sudden it changes a lot of things, like some things you can't do because they're holding a cocktail in one hand. So they can just close their hand, open it, their sponge balls, woohoo, and they have one hand's worth, right? Mm-hmm. There's a trick which I have to stop doing where I'm like, I tell them to hold the deck like this, and I gesture like with one hand on top of the other. And I say it, and then I realize they're holding something in their hand. I'm like, that's okay. I already did the move. You're fine.
Yeah.
So that's cool. What else? Anything else?
No, I mean, I did Newest Trick.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I really had a lot of fun doing that. I tried to take it a little more seriously. It was still playful and fun, but
great.
I don't know. I felt like there was something a little more there. I felt like I put more into my performance than I normally do. I really wrote a script out, and I learned a lot from doing that. Not that I haven't scripted before, but what happened this time, normally I write a very sort of basic script and I fill it in as I go and I sort of know where I want to be. Whereas this time I took a lot of time writing the script and I didn't spend enough time rehearsing it. Sorry. So what happened was when I got on stage, I I sort of had those filler moments that would normally be there, but then would remember what I wanted to say in the script, and it ended up being, I ended up running long and sort of like getting a little rambly and then jumping back into something that sounded scripted. And like, I was very sort of tripping over myself trying to get the point out that I wanted. But at the end of the day, I think it went really well. It was pretty well received. I got a lot of positive feedback.
And I think, I've told you this before, but based on watching what you do every time you're on Newest Trek, and also watching or taking into account your New Year's magic resolution, like, it's time to do stuff a second time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's time to start turning these attempts, and they're all like very different, very interesting, creative scripts, whatever. And then the next time you're on, it's like, I know that you're waking up in the morning some day before and you're going, okay, I got nothing. What do I do? You know, you start with zero. And I think it's time you stop starting at zero. Like, you prove that you can do step one, you know, like, of how do I make a trick out of something, you know, and just try to, you know, give it a year, you know, or give it, you know, something like that. Right. One of the things I do when I'm on that, and for people who are just starting to follow the podcast over 100 episodes, which is crazy, by the way, go back and listen. But if you're just starting, Newest Trick in the Book is something that Toronto Magic Company, which is the company that Ben Train and I have, we put on. It's going to start once a week as of March, which will be huge. Like Zoidberg. So where it's new material, so it's like an open mic night for magic. So there's always doing different stuff. And one of the things I do is, because it's like a 10-minute set, I put in like a 3-minute thing that I do usually, just to warm me up, and also because that's where I want to workshop that, right? Like, so if I want to say, you know what, instead of saying that they're going to do this, I'm going to say that it's a potion, or instead of this, I'm going to do this. Then I get to do that. So I would start playing with that, because that's very cool. Yeah.
And what have you been up to this past month?
Lot of magic. Dave and Buster's is going strong. I had some really fun gigs last weekend. I had two yesterday, a Tricks in the Sixth, another show, one the day before, and then I've got one Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday and Saturday this week. It's just crazy. So it's a good week. And I got to do some of my favorite stuff, which is like a table show. So awesome. I got to do it for a yoga company, and I love those. And it was so good because there was like 20, 25 people there. And immediately after, I just got an email from someone who said, that was great. How do I get you to do it for my party? And I'm like, yes, not as in like I booked another gig, as in like people see how awesome this thing is, which is unlike anything they've ever seen before, right? Like, it's not a walk around magic. I'm not standing and doing a show in their house. Like, I'm at their dining room table, like with people. So it's just cool to have that catch on a bit. And working on some stuff on the podcast, working on some Toronto Magic Company stuff. Man, trying to learn how to promote shows and how to get like asses in seats and how to sell tickets. Like, that shit is hard. So learning how to do that with Toronto Magic Company, it's fun. It's like you were saying before about you're saying like, I'm a magician.
Lloyd Barnes finally accepted my friend request.
Oh, really?
Just now.
Well, he just
in the middle of the 100th episode.
He just took down the address for the person who won. So if that's you and you know who you are, you got a deck coming. Sorry, just like that's okay. Just like what you were saying before about, you know, finally feeling like a magician, you know, all these things. And I wanted to talk about this because episode 100, I wanted to do some reflecting. But, you know, now when people ask me, they're like, how are you? I'm like, my life is magic. You know, my life is magic, and it's silly, but I mean it. You know, I do shows, I promoting with the Toronto Magic Company. We have this podcast crossing 100 episodes. Like, my life is magic right now. And it's just crazy that so much of it is going on. And like you were talking about it, but like, I'm officially like a magician, or like I have a podcast. Like, I feel like I've earned the spot of having magic in my life. And what I mean in terms of being reflective on it is, think about, and I was thinking about it the other day, where we were on episode 1. So a few things about it. The first is the reason why we bought 2 separate mics that each plugged into our own independent computers
that are only good for recording one person at a time.
Yeah, brutal. Was because we were like, who knows where we'll be? right?
Right.
And I was like, maybe I'll be in Kingston doing more degrees at Queen's University, or maybe you'll be here, or maybe we'll be like, we couldn't, like, who knows? Like, this is like, magic is just a side project of our life,
Yeah.
So, and I was just thinking about that, where back then the podcast was my little dipping my toe in the water of having magic in my life.
Right.
Versus now, like, I don't know, everything is magic. So it's cool to see that development. And I cannot help but think that having the podcast has been a real catalyst for all of that.
Oh, for sure.
Just because it's constantly on my mind every day,
Yeah, I don't think that anything that I've done magic-wise would have happened had we not started this podcast. It's at least a weekly reminder, at least back, especially when we first started, because we hadn't figured out how to batch all our episodes properly. And we were recording all the time. It felt like I was
the first few weeks, we were just every day. Like, I would stay at your house, we'd wake up, do a recording, do another one later, get food, go back, do another,
and then it was like break for 4 days, and then let's go again. And now we work for 4 days, and then we have a huge break, right? Which is a big difference. But like, I don't think that it just would have been in my mind as much. It's sort of, I just moved all of my stuff from my mom's to where I'm living now with my partner. And I was just going through all this like old magic stuff. And I was like, wow, this is all really tucked away. And I was sort of going through it and being like, this used to be what I did. Like, this was what I came home and did. And it's sort of happening again now that, and I have a reason to.
And I part of me absolutely thinks that had we been one of those people who dropped out at episode 9 or 20 or whatever, I might have taken a shit corporate job or something. You know what I mean? Like, I would I got the degree for it, so there's no reason for me to not. But I've found so much proof, and also, one of the things obviously that keeps this podcast going is people, every time an episode coming out, different people being like, yo, this is the most amazing thing ever. Like, yo, I live in fucking Tahiti and I just found you and it's the best thing and I'm binging all your episodes and like, oh, this was so amazing. And not that I like to pat on the back, which is nice, but I'm like, how can I fucking disappoint these people and be like, sorry, we stopped after 32 episodes. Like, we called it quits, right? Like, there's people who care about this, and there's people who care about magic so much in this world that I don't feel like, the whole idea of like, oh, you're going to be an actor? Like, good luck. You're going to make, like, I don't feel that way. Like, there's so much magic going on. There's so many goddamn magicians in Toronto. It's bonkers.
Yeah.
It's bonkers.
And there's so many people hiring magicians.
It's crazy. And like, I wanted to talk very quickly about Chicago Magic Lounge. Did you see their whole launch?
I did not. I don't know what you're talking about at all.
Oh my goodness gracious.
I do, but
oh my God. So they launched, I don't even know how to explain what it is. It's a magic lounge. They have a close-up room.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
In Chicago, they have a close-up room. It's called like the 654 Club. They've got the main ballroom. It's a secret entrance through like a laundromat. You have to figure out how to get in.
It's like a fridge in the back room.
Something like that. I don't know. I've never been.
I don't even know.
But Westfall was just there, and I've been watching a lot of Ryan Plunkett's stories, and they've been featured in every single Chicago like paper and videos and stuff like that. So it's just cool to see how magic is booming, and it's a pat on the back and the brain for like this and for Toronto Magic Company and just being a magician. Like, it exists, like there's push for magic. And like I said, whatever it was, 10, 15 episodes ago, like, I believe that there has never been a better time for magic than right now,
Yeah. Like, I mean, I feel like there's never been a better time to do real good with your magic, right?
Do anything
now.
like,
and I just mean like there was a time where magic was more powerful than it is now, but
I mean like witches, but like, that's not.
Like, we're in a very different boat now.
Yeah, like, when I say magic, I'm talking with a C, not with a K.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So there's a few different things I wanted to talk about as a little reflection on the last episode. So on 100 episodes, I mean. The first is some past guests. So I wrote a little thing it's nothing. I basically wrote down the name of every single one of our guests, and I'm going to say that we've ever had, and I'm going to go through them rapid fire, and I'll
in
just
a freestyle.
No, not in a freestyle.
Okay.
And I'll just say this at the beginning, and I'll also say it at the end. But if you're like, how do I find that episode? Go to discourseandmagic.com. There's a search bar. Type it in. It'll come up. Or just scroll through the episodes. This is basically in order. So here is everyone in the first 100 episodes that we've had on.
Hang on 1 second. I'm going to start a timer.
Oh, no. Am I going to try to do it fast?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, like, other than that, it's just 100 names
just
in
a
a
list.
row. Like, let's fucking...
Okay. We'll time it. Do you think I can do it in under...
Yeah, you give me a time because you haven't practiced it.
I haven't practiced
at all.
Well, there's about, I guess, like 72, 73 names. So, I don't know. I think I can do it in 40 seconds.
40 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay.
But just do a timer, not a countdown, so we can see how far
I'm doing a
off I am.
stopwatch.
Oh, yeah, that's what I mean.
Stopwatch.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm gonna...
You give me a 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Stephen Brundage, Eric Leclerc, Chris Mayhew, Patrick Kuhn, Ben Train, Chris Westfall, Lee Asher, Aaron Fisher, Oscar Munoz, Rosemary Reed, Mark Correa, David Buck, Elliot Terrell, Scott Hamill, Bobby Mata, Sean Farquhar, Chris Wheel, Daniel Fernandez, Matthew Beach, Lou Serrano, Wes Barker, Julian Mather, Justin Flom, Daniel Garcia, Justin Willman, James Harrison, Nick Wallace, John Gustafaro, David Malik, The Sentimentalist,
20
Gazzo,
seconds.
John Archer, Brian Miller, Morgan Pierce, Suzanne, Mark Kirsten, Spidey, Matt DeZero, Mark Calabrese, Jeff Hinchcliffe, Ryan Edwards, Michael Feldman, Jason Dean, Anna D. Guzman, Glenn West, Harrison Greenbaum, Zach Mirza, Steve Reynolds, Gaff Guy, Jeremy Griffith, Lawrence Haas, Monty Gilbert, Billy Kidd, Demian Aditya, Alan Hagen, Garrett Thomas, Xavier Spade, Sean Oak, Garen Clark, Tony Chang, Felix Bowden, John Stessel, David Williamson, Alex Pandrea, Lloyd Barnes, Mario Lopez, Michael Close. We didn't start the fire.
Final time, 47 seconds. You got the Sean O.
Sean O.
Yeah.
Anyways, so if that was fun. I'm glad we timed it. Otherwise, I would have just been like, "Oh, remember that one?" So yeah. If any of those names excite you, and you're like, "Holy crap, I didn't know about that," I found the podcast at episode 99 or something. Go check them out. I'd love to hear what you thought. And now that we're staring at the list, I figure let's go top five.
Top five.
Top five. I mean, you can do like top five is hard, but I feel like if we say
Are we doing top five in terms of what we think of the episode? Top fives in terms of the experience? Like
whatever, the top 5 episodes. I mean, like, look, the top most downloaded episodes might not be the top episodes, right? So whatever you think are the best ones. I have in the little, when people sign up for Discourse and Magic, I plug what like my favorite 3 episodes are and what the most downloaded episodes are.
Okay.
Although I don't remember what they
are. We allowed to overlap, or do you want to just do 5?
Yeah, we can overlap, but you go first.
I go
because I called it.
There's so many. Can you read them again?
In 30 seconds?
Yeah, you have 30 seconds now.
I really tripped up on
I literally said 3, 2, 1, go and touched my screen as it timed out. So like I'm pretty sure you were at 48 seconds, but like the whole thing was shenanigans. I really enjoyed, out of the ones that I've already been released, I really enjoyed Jeremy Griffith.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was I just found talking to him very enjoyable. I don't know why. I don't know why.
I just want to change it. Let's not do top 5. Let's just say like some highlights.
Yeah. Okay, so Jeremy Griffith. If it's just highlights, this becomes a lot easier. With Chris Ramsey and Eric.
That was
Leclerc,
our live show.
And
Wes Barker.
And Wes Barker. Yeah, that was just one of the best.
Crazy. That was such a fun experience.
Yeah. Really enjoyed that.
If we could do it for the world, I would do it again. I'm just worried that we do it for Toronto. Like, I think 15, 20 people were there.
Yeah.
Right? So like, I would love to do another live show in a theater because it's so fun. But like, what am I gonna do?
We got to start like adult
New
magic
York.
camp,
Like, what? I'm not gonna do that.
Justin Willman.
That was awesome.
Was a blast. He's just a super positive dude and like really great to talk to. David Williamson, Unreal.
We were, before we even press record, we were peeing our pants laughing.
Yeah. Just amazing. Garrett Thomas was mind blowing.
Yeah,
I mean, really reshaped a lot of the.
I'll talk about it in a sec, but it's a good episode.
Who else was great? I mean, I want to shout out all my like close friends, you know, like Ben Train, Chris Westfall, Chris Mayhew, Keith Brown, Mark Correa, all those people. Like, that was just a great time. It felt like I was getting a lot of support from people I cared about on this project that became more and more important to me. So, big shout out to you guys and everybody who's been on the podcast. Yeah, that's sort of
some highlights.
Yeah, I'm just reading through the list really fast right now. Fuck Glenn West. No.
Glenn West, I don't know if I mentioned this on the podcast, but his Project 365, which is bonkers amazing, by the way.
Incredible.
I keep forgetting, but like, we pushed him kind of to do that, you know, like it was a few days after the podcast that he started episode 1, is because we were talking about how big Instagram is and Instagram stories. And he had such a great quote, which was like, you know, Instagram stories is a reality TV show of like your own life or something like that. Or like watching reality TV show starring like your friends or something. And I was like, fuck, like that's so good.
Oh, Harrison Greenbaum. Harrison Greenbaum blew my mind.
Yeah.
Anyway, what are your highlights? Give me some.
Okay, so I'll give you some highlights and some things behind them that were so great. So obviously I want to reiterate what you said about having such close friends on. It just makes this so much more of a project, you know, for my heart. You know, the fact that like 15, 20 of the guests on are people that we spent a ton of time with. And I'm just like, just come on the podcast. You know, and you get to dive deep into people's magic that you might not have even known about these close friends
it's like,
of yours.
Come over to my place and fuck, now you live with Mark. You know what I mean? Now we're recording in your guys' living room. For sure,
like that almost wouldn't have happened if, I don't think it would have happened if we weren't like,
totally,
you know, maybe even did the podcast, right? So just really big. On that note, I wanted to give a shout out to probably one of the best experiences for us, which was going to Lee Asher's.
Oh my God, Lee! Amazing. I'm sorry, you weren't the first one on my list.
But it was so amazing. First of all, like Lee's an awesome dude.
And definitely not listening to this.
Really, definitely not. But we went. He made us dinner.
He made me a vegan meal.
Dog. We looked through his playing card collection. Like, it was just such a beautiful day. So that was a good experience for us, and that was interesting. And a lot of these guys, like, we've gone to their houses and stuff, but that one was particularly awesome. You know, we went to Scott's house. So like that was really cool.
Scott, I'm sorry.
No, I mean, Scott's episode was also fantastic. And there's people, by the way, which I'll mention that like, I feel like we did a disservice to because we interviewed them early before we learned what to do. It's like we spoke to Scott about stunts and like, I don't know, like he's done some big stunts, but like we probably should have spoken to him about like motivational speaking, you know?
Yeah,
and, like,
or
speaking to youth. And,
now if like you haven't seen the show that I'm about to work on his new show, Don't Look Down, but like, man, can that guy do magic?
Yeah.
Oh my God, can he like tell a story and blow your mind? Like, it's nuts.
Yeah. So definitely shout out to him. A few others that I want to shout out. I think that
Matt Tessero
that was also a great experience.
Yeah,
for us. Like,
having him over, we had a good time. We chatted for a while.
Obviously, some top ones that are also the most downloaded, but Daniel Garcia and Aussie Wind are both really big ones that. Those are episodes that really have the potential to change a lot of the way that you think about and look at your magic. And they're things that, you know, if you listen to them, it's great words from great guys. But if you actualize them, it's an infinite amount of knowledge. You know, like Aussie's episode is about really caring about what you say and what you say to your audience, and try to just put that at the top of the page when you write a script, right? You're like, do I care? Should they care? Like, do I care about them? You know, and that'll reflect, or a lot of the ideas that Daniel Garcia gave us about how to be creative and creativity and coming up with new things and how to work on a team and stuff like that. Like actualizing that stuff instead of just listening to it and being like, wow, what a good dude.
Yeah.
You know, like actualizing that stuff will make such an impact. So those were really, really big ones for me. Again, I'm just scanning again through. And just another person to put out on that list, Morgan Pierce. He was my go-to magician when I was in Kingston for a while, and he's one of the smartest guys I know. And it was just fun to have him on the podcast talking. We talk money, we talk magic, but it was very cool to have him on. And just
I gotta re-listen to that one.
That one's really good. He's a really bright guy.
I forgot about that.
A few others. Obviously, I want to re-highlight Harrison Greenbaum's. It's one of the only episodes where we can actually physically talk about comedy and it's not nonsense. So that was really cool. And the two other big, huge highlights that I want to give. Number one, or actually, three. Yeah. Number one is Michael Close. That one just came out, but it was really cool. He's a bright dude, man. He is, and he's so articulate compared to us. We're like, blah, 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 just shit blabbing. And he's very articulate. So that was awesome. David Williamson, it was just cool to have that, connection, conversation. And one of the highlights of that was somebody who was really at the top of their game, answering a lot of questions by saying, I don't know. I don't know. It's just the only thing I've been doing for eternity. So this is the way I do it. I don't know how to answer you. Yeah. So that was really helpful. And then the one, it was. And the one, the top one that I want to really, really give props and a shout out to is Garrett Thomas, because that episode, and Lawrence Haas as well, was also really genius. But Lawrence Haas's episode, just to put them side by side, is a great episode for you to listen to as a magician trying to get better. Garrett Thomas's episode is the episode when non-magician friends say to me, like, I want to listen to your podcast. I'm like, listen to that. That'll make you change everything you think about magic.
You'll appreciate cups. And you'll pick up random shit and be like, this is a magic trick.
And I've had multiple people send me messages after I've told them to do that, non-magicians, and say, wow, I did not understand magic until I read that. Until I listened to that, wow, now I get it. Yeah. So, those are some highlights to me. And also, all the ones we didn't mention that are amazing, that are in there, that were in my rapid fire, they're still so cool and just amazing to have these close people on. And, people like, obviously Chris Ramsey, people like Carolyn Ravin, like James Allen, bright guys, and girls. It was so good. Tony Chang, it was just fun to connect with a lot of these people and spend some time with them. And I'll just tell you, there's more to come. There's people who I would have put on this list that we've already recorded, but they're coming out in the next 4 or 5 episodes. So definitely keep peeled for that.
There's some good ones.
They're really, really good.
One thing I want to say, that I've learned throughout this whole experience, I don't know that's something, well, I guess it is something that I've learned. It's not really a skill. It's sort of like a way that I feel now, but it's based on sort of everything that we've discussed on this podcast. And one of the things that I disliked about magic was that the more you learn about it, the less you tend to care when you're watching it live. At least for me, I found that I wasn't being fooled. So the feeling wasn't there. It was more like critiquing the performance and not experiencing the performance itself. And sort of inadvertently, I felt like it was sort of bad. I was like, this isn't what I wanted. I wanted to be magic, not, have it just completely sucked out of my life. But something that we constantly talk about is relating fake magic that we do on stage to real magic in real life, like thinking about someone and then they call you, or thinking about a song and then it's playing on the radio. And I've learned to appreciate those moments more, because that's the only real time that we as magicians get to experience real, actually unexplainable magic.
Yeah. Part of the big deal of, being a magician and internalizing all of these stuff is, they say you look at a new car, you're like, oh wow, that's a nice car. And then you see it everywhere. Right. And you're like, did they just start, these cars just started being everywhere? What, why is this happening? And there's a word for it. I don't know, something sciencey, but someone will send me a message and tell me what it is. Probably James Allen. He's good at that. But that's what this is, right?
Yeah.
Like when I'm 150% of my life is magic. You know, someone asked me recently to go to a lecture that was a little bit far away, and this is almost on the other side of the coin, but still sort of positive. And I said, or they asked me about an online magic service or something, and I said, look, it's great for somebody whose life is not magic. You know, if you live in Alaska, then you're going to dig an online magic community where you meet every day live and jam. This is my life. You know, I have not had a day in the last year where I did not think of magic. Even on vacation, you know, like even when I'm not, I'm like magic, you know, like things around me are magic props. When I talk to people, I think about magic. People ask me what I'm doing. It's magic. What am I doing on like
fingers?
No. What am I doing on like like what am I messaging people about, and what is it? Magic. What am I doing social media about? Like everything I do is magic. So I recently turned down an opportunity to go to a lecture that was in like Buffalo or something, because I just said, it's so hard for me to make that mission. I'm surrounded by it, you know? I'm surrounded by it. And again, like I don't mean that to be a negative thing. I just mean that to be an extra point in the column of like, our lives are magic now, and it's so cool to see all the things around us that are appearing to be magic, whether it's taking joy in what other magicians are presenting and doing, or whether it's, just taking in the magic of like everyday life and thinking about what is magic. And like you were saying, I used to watch other magicians and just say like, that was another magician.
Flash.
You know? Exactly. But really, I would just think of it as like, another person.
Yeah.
And now, and I don't know whether this is positive or negative, whatever, but I immediately think like, how can I help teach this person? How can I help this person? What resources in a bank of 100 episodes do I have to say, you know what you would benefit from after watching you perform? Listening to this.
Right.
Yeah. Or saying, you know what you would benefit from? I spoke to Lawrence Haas, and he's had some really great points about, like, I mean, in the context of the episode, but even still, just the stuff that I have, it's like I've been reading magic books all my life and studying magic, but I now have an encyclopedia of of advice from the best magicians of the world at my disposal. And I just feel like I can now help people. I want to help magicians in every way possible, whether I'm coming up with a new method with them or helping them jam on this. And I feel that I don't want to get sentimental or depressive or whatever, but like I have value in magic now. Do you know what I mean? Like I have, like, my opinion maybe is starting to maybe matter. Maybe, you know, maybe not. Maybe, right? Maybe not. But, and I'm not trying to say like I'm important now, but I'm saying like I feel like I actually can offer people things.
Was that Vernon?
Yeah, that was Vernon. I feel like I can actually offer people help and advice and things in magic where I'm not just like a dude.
Yeah.
Like I have something to draw from, whether it's this or Toronto Magic Company or performing, or like I'm starting to be a magic person, a magician, really.
Yeah. That's sort of I think that's a beautiful sort of purpose for this podcast. Was it made, at least you, probably us.
You too.
Probably us magicians, for real. You know, and it's kind of weird. Do you find yourself talking to non-magicians about this podcast frequently? Like when they find out you're a magician, do you say, I also run a podcast about magic?
Yeah, I mean, it's part of, like, what do you do? I'm like, I'm a magician, so I produce shows and I perform and I run a podcast where I interview the best magicians in the world. That's what I say.
Yeah. I think it's so weird that it just sort of became another
part
dot
of my
on our
magician
resume.
identity.
You know what I mean?
It's part of my magician identity, you know?
Yeah.
And I, one day, and obviously it's great right now, but one day, having 100+ episodes, interviewing the best magicians in the world is going to become important. You know, like, and I know that sounds so crazy, but I think about like Lee Asher. He was like, I'm going to China. I don't know. I think they want me to advise on something. I don't know. And then he was a judge on this biggest magic television show that's ever been publicized.
Right.
Ever,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So like, not that I want to be a judge on a big magic television show.
I really do.
I do.
I really do.
But I'm saying like, one day someone's going to say,
specifically in China.
You know who's got an encyclopedic knowledge and who spoke to every amazing magician in the world? Those guys, right? Like one day, or maybe never, But
I feel like they're more gonna say, you know, who posted an encyclopedic knowledge of every
literally
magician
never
ever.
shut the fuck up about all the crap out. But yeah, so I definitely, I don't know. I'm in such awe about it and so proud about everything that we've done with it. Let's change gears. There's a few more little tiny things that I want to touch on. The first is, what have you, as a person, speaking about the podcast sort of as an aspect of your life, and then as a magician, what have you learned? What can people take away from this nearly 2-year journey that we've been on? What can people take away?
Magic doesn't have to be everything.
But it's the only thing.
But if it's not your everything, you're a pussy. No. I mean, doesn't have to be everything. I feel like I was in this mindset of like, I have to commit myself 110% to this and become a magician who works full time doing just magic all the time. And that can be what you want to do. And you do have to commit 100% in order to do that. But it doesn't have to be everything that you do. I learned very quickly that that's not the life that I want to live. But magic definitely is never going to go away. You know, no part of me wants to give up on magic. And there's so many people that, you know, their first album drops and they don't like the response on their EP, so they smash their guitar and say, fuck it, I'll be an accountant. Mm-hmm. And you can just be an accountant who still drops albums a little, you know, less frequently. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm excited to bring magic into whatever life I, you know, tend to dive into. There hasn't been a job interview where it didn't come in handy, or, you know, a conversation where it wasn't something that, even if I'm not talking about magic, just understanding people a little bit better.
Another lens.
Just looking at it through an artistic magician lens is really, you know, help change the way I see life in the world itself. What about you?
I just want, before I talk about something that I've learned, which this will give me a minute to think about, but I just want to reflect on that and say that it's mega cool how you've taken ownership of who you are as a person as well as a magician. You know what I mean? Like it allows, like, you're not defined by magic. And part of me, you know, an iota of me wishes that little 1% of me, 2% of me, I don't know, whatever it is, wishes that maybe I wasn't a magician, and that way magic could be, I don't want to say fun again, you know, because it is fun, you know, like, and I do enjoy it all and stuff like that. But
you'd like to wake up and want to do magic, not wake up and have to do magic.
Yeah. I remember when I used to, like, just chill and read a magic book, and now I'm like, I have magic work to be doing. You know, like it's a weird thought. And also I don't know.
Dude, what are you going to do after your long day of booking gigs and trying to find stuff,
magic?
Sit down and read more magic? Like,
so, and you know, a lot of people have are big fans of The Jerks, which I recommend. It's a great website, thejerks.com. Really awesome. But he talks a lot in it about doing magic casually. And like, you know, you're not a magician for money, so how can you do magic for friends in a better, more appealing way? And every time I read it, I'm like, but I do magic for money. You know, like these people being like, oh, no, I don't really do magic. I mean, I used to dabble in it, and I still play with it a little now and again, but it's not what I do or anything. And I'm like, I don't get to say that, you know? Right. It is what I do. It does define me. So definitely on the other side of that coin, I see how it can be negative and, of course, positive. You know, like I was talking about in this whole thing, how awesome it is that my life is magic, and it's just so cool. And I'm so glad, like, I can close my eyes and think back to like 3 and 4 and 5 years ago when I was studying math every day, and I was just like, what is life?
Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ. So not that wasn't fun, but it's just totally different than what this is. So, and like, I see people around me getting, they're of the age where they're just starting to get the job that's going to end up being their career in a 2, 3, 5, 10-year window. And they're like, oh, it's so great. Like, I'm making X amount of money, and I'm like, and I'm working every day.
I got
and I'm
a
like,
fucking pension coming in. I got benefits.
Right. No, but I'm thinking the opposite. Like, I'm like, you think that's great, but my life is fucking unreal. Like,
no,
my life, and I'm not trying to like compare and stuff.
But I'm saying, like, they have all these awesome like perks and bonuses, and I'm just like, you work 10 hours a day making someone else money, and you don't give a shit. Like, you're happy that you're not a student, and I get that. But like, okay, yeah, you make good money, and you're living someone else's life, though. You know what I mean?
And again, I don't wanna,
some people love it,
and that's fine.
I know
that's
accountants
great.
who are like, I'm a baller. I play with numbers and make crazy good money. And I know people who are like, my parents still don't
Tahiti,
like me.
Right?
Like this, so it's all about, you should motivate yourself to be who you want to be.
It's about what you want, but it's just, I'm definitely just saying, for me, I love the fact that I'm seeing all these other people do things, and I'm like, yeah, I like the path that I'm on. I do like it. You know, every now and then my mom's like, "Are you sure you want to do magic?" And I'm like, I fucking think so. Yeah, I do. This is pretty great. Yeah, I don't know. So that was just to reflect on that. But I would guess, one lesson or one major thing that I've learned from this is, and I think that it's such a beautiful reflection into the real world of the podcast, is just keep showing up. Keep pressing play every Thursday. Like, as in us you guys too, keep pressing play every Thursday, but but like,
and
us,
tell your friends. Also tell your friends.
But us, like, this only exists because I'm just like, and another one. Like, it's easier to record 4 more episodes than it is to end the podcast. Right? Like that, like, that's what it comes down to. It's easier to record 4 more episodes than it is to say, we're done, it's over. So I'm gonna keep doing that.
It's kind of one of those things where it's just like, it's like eating small chocolates out of a box. You're just like, I should stop,
but I'll have another one.
But what am I gonna do? Not eat this box of chocolate?
Right.
Like, it's a box of chocolate,
right? And that's exactly what this is. And I think that
the more and more you eat, the more and more committed you are to finishing it, to hide your fucking
At the beginning
shame.
of the bag of chips, you're like, I'll just have some chips. Maybe I'll finish it, maybe I won't. And then by the end, you're like, fuck it. I had like 70% of these. I'm just gonna finish it. Like, what's 25, 30 more chips?
Clearly, one serving of chips isn't satisfying, so I'm gonna dissatisfy myself in the future.
You're like, family size. What do you mean?
Where are we
one,
right now?
baby.
Yeah.
But like, at the beginning, that might not have been true. When we were at 5 episodes, 7 episodes, like, things were going wrong. We record a whole episode, and then we were like, and we lost the audio. When that stuff happened, it was brutal. And I could imagine us being like, there's enough magic podcasts out there, whatever. And now it is legitimately just easier to put out 4 more episodes than it is to end the podcast, because when we end, we'll end with a bang, and that's going to be a lot of work.
Yeah.
So,
and it'll be hard. It'll be hard to be like,
of course,
we're done this. You know what I mean? Like, to throw it away, to not want to do one more recording.
I know.
You know what I mean?
There's always, one of the things that I've been saying is, like, people ask me, like, when, like, in terms of longevity, and we've spoken about this, and this, I guess, will be one of the first times that I talk about it on air. But it's not going to last forever. Like, it will end. There is an end point, whether it's 150
this is
episodes.
The one. We got you. Got him.
February Fools. No. Or March or whatever. Whether it's like 150 episodes or 200 episodes. Remember, 200 episodes is another 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Like, 150 episodes is another full year, right?
Yeah. I was when you were talking about how you numbered them for triple digits, and I'm like, let's go for 1,000. That's 20 years.
Right.
Oh, God.
So, like, whether it's 150 episodes or whether it's 200 episodes, it's hard to end it before we've interviewed certain people,
Yeah.
Like, certain people, maybe it's a write-off. Like, we might not be able to get David Copperfield. Spoilers, it might not happen. But it's hard to end it before we've reached certain people who have made such an impact. And it's crazy to have a lot of those people on, both because it's permission for the podcast to end eventually, because like it's accomplished, it's everything, you know?
Yeah.
But also just because it's so cool to have those people pass by. So I don't know when it's going to end, but there is an end date. You know, it's not going to last for eternity. We're not the Simpsons. But we are, you know, we're going to keep churning for at least a little while longer.
Yeah.
And there's some people, like I said, that like it can't end before I interview Darwin Ortiz. Like it just like it's an example, right?
Yeah,
Like it just like it can't, like this podcast can't end until I've interviewed Darwin Ortiz. And there's people like that where it just can't. Like I'm sorry, you know what I mean?
For sure.
So there's an end in sight somewhere, but there's people that we have to interview, and like nobody call Darwin and say never interview them.
Yeah.
So it keeps going forever. Do the opposite. But yeah, so I mean there's an end in sight, and we're gonna end with a bang if we do something crazy. But yeah, I mean it's not in near sight, that's for sure, because there's some big stuff coming. And on the note of with a bang, we have I have exciting things to announce for episode 100, which is not when this episode comes out, but shortly thereafter, we will have some merch available. So we will definitely have a shirt, and then we will have either a mug or a pillow or both. I got the first sample of the pillow, but I didn't get yet the sample of the mug or the t-shirt. So once we get all of those, I'm going to evaluate it, make sure it's good enough quality and stuff, and then I will put online the store. And I was thinking of one of two options, and I want to know what you think. Option number one, because first of all, like I don't want to have a store always. Like I just don't want like
a merch section.
I don't want a merch section of the website. So I have two thoughts. The first thought is we put a temporal end on the merch. So we say like it's available for 2 months, and then this is the only time you guys can order these shirts. Or the second is a numeric end. Like there's 150 shirts available. Like be one of the people, you know?
Yeah.
Because I mean, as much as I'd love everyone to buy a shirt, whatever, I just think if like I'm not a fucking t-shirt business. and again, I would rather people who want to support us by wearing it and showcasing it are able to do that at the time when they can. And then soon, if there's people who want to support us by learning, you know, soon I'm going to really be double downing on sort of releasing more products for you guys, whether it's things like I've been looking at the pricing and stuff of putting together ebooks and books, because there's information that I have to share, and you as well. You know, there's people who don't know how to make a trick. And our newest trick, like we were talking about, you've made trick after trick after trick after trick. You know, one of the things that I'm really thinking about teaching and putting together in an ebook or an online course is how to make a trick your own. You know, we've learned in this podcast that you don't have to start with nothing fresh and make a trick that's never existed before, but you do have to do something special about it if you want the trick to be your own and you want it to be unique. So I think we've both learned a lot of ways how to do that,
yeah.
You know? And I think like, I'm happy to say that the routines that I have now in my show, like some of them are other people's tricks, but I have full ownership over them in the sense of like, I don't own the trick, but like it's my routine. It's almost tied to me, you know, like it's part of me. It's like a Rocky Raccoon with David Williamson.
Yeah.
So anyways, all that to say that I want to release more information products down the line, and this is sort of a celebration of 100 episodes. So there'll be a limited something about it, whether it's time or whether it's...
I mean, we could just do 100.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's like 100 of it. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So we do like 100 available.
I don't have a problem with having a merch page, maybe not on the official website, or just having like we'll leave a link at the bottom of every episode. We can pitch our merch like podcasts do. But if you don't want that, I love the idea of it being, we're doing just 100 top fans, 100 top episodes.
Right. Like, I just think that's so cool. And then like, listen, maybe in the future, maybe in a 6-month 5 month, 3 month.
If we get people complaining, being like, "We want your shirts," I don't think that's gonna happen.
Right?
So,
like, look, if the 105th person is like, "Fuck, all I wanted was a shirt," then we'll know that we need to open it back up. But if we only 80 people only want them, then I don't need to have a merch page. Like.
All I know is I want a pillow. Like, just,
you do want a pillow,
really
right?
want like we should. Yeah, we'll sell them all individually, or we'll bundle
you'll
them.
See the pillow. It looks really good. I don't know that I would sleep on it, but
I've seen the picture of the pillow. It's a couch cushion. It's a throw cushion or whatever.
Cushion, a throw pillow. It's cool. It's damn cool. Like, I looked at it, I was like, this is cool. I got my logo on a pillow.
Yeah, cool, I saw the photo. I was like, why isn't that here?
This is
damn
cool.
I want that.
Yeah, I'll put it up on like Instagram or something. So there will be merch available, and I'll let you guys know when it is, and we'll plug it to all heck. But it'll be limited. It'll be a limited release. We had someone design it, and I'll shout him out when the whole thing goes live. But a fan designed it, and he's obviously getting a free shirt for doing that, and
it's awesome.
So pumped. It's really cool. You guys are gonna like it. There's a fun little
I can't wait to do a merch photo shoot. I have all these ideas now. I
also want to, maybe we'll do, one of the things I want to do is give some either as gifts or as like, don't keep it, but take some photos with like some people in Toronto who like I want to see wearing our shirts,
right? Yeah,
or even like send some to some of these amazing guests we've had on as a thank you. Like just say, here, have it. Like,
anyone who gave us free stuff when we were doing our giveaways,
sure, they deserve a shirt. So pumped. We're going to have some merch for you. And I did a little survey for the people on the email to get a feel for who wanted what, and if people wanted shirts and if they wanted information products. And I learned some cool things. So that's one of the reasons why I sort of want to do a limited release, limited run of shirts, and then call it afterwards. And I think it'll be cool for you to, just to reflect on again about the jerks. Like, only a certain number of people in this world have the first Jerks deck and have the first Jerks book. Like, and that number will never go up, And like, I feel that this podcast marks a moment in time and marks, you, if you're listening to this, are a part of this, and you're very special for being here. And, sad to say, the day that this is over, you'll think about it every now and again. And I think it'd be really cool if you were one of the people who had a shirt while you think about it. I have a shirt for a podcast that I listen to, which is over now, and I wear it all the fucking time, and I love the shit out of it. And just because it just, I don't know, makes me feel good. I don't know. It's weird. I don't look down, I'm looking forward most of the day. Yeah. But when I put it on, when I take it off, I'm like, it makes me feel good. So, we will have some merch available. Anything else that you want to send them off with? Tell them. Oh, by the way, I spoke to some people, and I was going to do like a clip thing for this episode where it's like, hi, this is episode 100, like episode 1 with episode 2 with, and just do one of those or do like a line from each episode. And I was like, fuck that shit. I'm just going to say all the names. Yeah. So it's not a clip show. You're welcome. It's not like episode like 200 of a shitty sitcom and they're like, we don't need content. Let's just do a clip show.
Yeah. I think like the flashback episode concept is one of the most frustrating things to ever happen. That's my biggest issue with The Simpsons is they started doing it once every season in the middle of their stuff. But I think Community is the best thing to ever happen because they do a flashback show, a fake completely fresh
is the best
content. Anyway, go watch Community. Yes. The Simpsons is good too. 100 episodes, 100 years, 100 times. That's Rick and Morty.
Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Yeah. Honestly, I want to give a huge, we always thank you at the end of every episode, but I mean, like, there's no way to show the appreciation that I have for the listeners at home because like you give so much validation to what we do. Like all the validation. Great. It's so great actually
you said that word because I was thinking about it. Like, without them, not to interject, but without them, we're like, hey, David Williamson, want to talk to me for an hour?
Yeah.
Like, hey, Harrison Greenbaum, let's chat for a little bit, right? Yeah. And with them, it's like,
do you mind if we record this?
We have a podcast, like it's just different.
Yeah, straight up. And I want to give a big thank you to you. I mean, this wouldn't happen without you. You do literally all the work and tell me when to show up, and I show up, and I sometimes talk, sometimes don't, and it's I still get to be like, yo, bitch, I got a podcast. My face is on the thing. Like, it's pretty sweet. So big thank you to everybody involved for making this part of my life a part of my life.
Yeah, it's so cool. And I want to say the same thing. So first of all, to everyone at home, if you're a part of this, and particularly, if you're one of the people who not only listens to it, but shares it in any light. And I don't just mean the social media share. I mean, you talk to other magicians about it. You go to jams, like it's not a secret that you have, that you listen to this podcast, you talk about it, or you actually physically share it, or you like tag people in photos and stuff when I'm like, yo, tag someone, or you like send it. I mean, if you're one of the older dudes, which a lot of them, we talk a lot about old guard, and then they're like, hey, I'm still here and I like your shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, sorry, dude. But if you're one of the like, older dudes who, I don't know why I singled you guys out, but like you send emails to your friends to tell them about stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
That's why but I mean, like if you're like, hey, check this out. Or, we just showed up on a magic forum that I had never heard of before, and I got an account on it just to say, hey, thank you guys so much. Like, if you have any questions, let me know. I'm here. Like, mega cool to be on this forum and to be like mentioned. And so, yeah, big thank you to anybody who sort of, listens to this. And
also,
a
general apology to the people over 40 who listen to.
Yeah, sorry for talking.
We
smack.
really...
We like you, too.
We do. Yeah. We really do. Like
we got... Xavier Spade's episodes got so much flack. It's unbelievable. People leave comments. Someone recently left a comment on it, and I was like... It just said so much. He was like, oh, and this, and like, some of the clubs are good, and some are bad, and then I was like... Listen, I don't know if you're saying good stuff or bad stuff, but I agree. Okay,
yeah,
so whatever it is, I'm with you.
You know our interviewing style. We definitely
we agree. You have a comment? I agree.
I agree. That's so interesting. That's really valuable. Thank you.
So yeah, definitely a shout out to everybody who listened to this and who shared it and who spoke about it. And again, a big thank you to you, because this, if it was just me, like I know I do a lot of the shit that makes us run, but if it was just me, it would end. Like it would end, like the thoughts that creep in when I'm like, what am I still doing this fucking thing for? Like, what am I doing? Like I can just spend that time doing other things. Like I would, like if we weren't doing this, it wasn't a fun thing, for a lot of people that don't know, like, I mean, we used to hang out a lot, and now we hang out to do episodes of the podcast, right? Yeah. So it's like, it's just it's so cool, and it's awesome to have you here and to have we went from being like, we met at camp, and then we would just like meet up and jam, and then we would meet up and shuffle cards while we talked magic and didn't really jam, and then came the idea of let's interview people. Like, fuck, like what are we doing? Like, let's just, and it came from just a combination of a lot of things, like the confidence in your ability to be tech savvy, like made such an impact in us being like, fuck it, we'll just plug some mics in and do it. And like, no matter that every tech decision we made
was
until
wrong.
Now was wrong.
Just
like
a mistake.
No matter that was the situation.
We literally had to talk to one sound engineer, and he was like,
one person to point us in the right direction.
Here's the thing, is that I did go to Long and McQuaid and ask for help for this, and they told me to buy the mic that I bought, but they sell microphones for a living. They don't record podcasts for a living, which is what we needed to be trying to do. So,
I mean, like that confidence and just us working so well with each other in general was such a reason for this to happen. And yeah, I'm so glad that you're here doing this with me. Like it would be weird if it was just me. Like I know I listen to a lot of podcasts where it's just like one dude interviewing people, and like we couldn't do the you and I episodes because it would just be like fucking me being like, so this month, blah, 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 blah. And like, I'm not talking to myself in a room. The only person who can do that on their podcast is Bill Burr because he's that funny. But like, it's hard for other people to do it. There's a few other people, but like, I don't have that much value to share. It's just me, right? I'm just like, so what magic things did I do this month, right? So it's just cool because it also allows us both to, once a month, document our journey in this awesome way, and then be able to reflect on it, kind of like, like people who journal every day, or people who, that's what this is. This is a capsule in time. and I'm so glad it exists. So shout out to you. Shout out to everybody who listened. Of course, all of our guests. And if you're
shout out to
one of the guests who listened and we didn't mention you, we do love you too. Literally all the episodes are great. We used to joke, and we still do, that like the best episode is the most recent one.
Yeah,
like whoever as soon as we get off every episode, we're like, well, that was amazing. Okay, that was a great episode. So we've loved every episode
except for the ones where it's just me and you.
Yeah, those we end it, we're like, that was shit.
Yeah, I really
but this was actually good. When this ends, I'll be like, that was fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, shout out to every guest and so many more guests to come, and keep your questions, comments, thoughts, and whatever coming at us. Whether it's
hashtag merch at 100.
Let's not create any hashtags. Even the hashtag Discourse of Magic is pretty lean. It is. It's pretty lean. But thank you everyone for just participating in this 100, and let's clink some glasses to 100.
Let's clink them in a microphone.
Yeah, in a mic. To 100 more, baby.
I don't have any fluid in my glasses.
And the last thing that I want to say, which I was just thinking about, is, which we said a while ago, but I think we should actually do, is now that we're 100 episodes in,
we have to listen to all of them without taking a
that wasn't what I was going to say, but I do think we should live stream ourselves
100 hours.
What we should do is we should tag out. So at no point in time can an episode not be playing. You know what I mean?
Right.
And we just like
I'll just be sitting there like, come over, please.
I'm like, sorry, I'm sleeping. Like it's 4:00 in the morning. No, that's not what I was gonna say. But I do think we should do that. And I am slowly going through them, but it's just hard to listen to our own podcast over a podcast that I want to listen to.
There's so much good information, but it's hidden behind my own voice, and I just don't want to.
There's someone recently messaged us, and he's like, yo, like I've been binging the podcast, like something like 4 episodes a day. I'm like, bro, stop it. 4 hours of me a day? That's crazy. I'm still not used to it. 100 episodes, I'm still not used to my own voice. I'm so glad that we hired someone to edit, because it definitely would have ended already. I would have had to continue doing that all myself. But what I was going to say is, now that we know what we are, we need a better intro description of what this is. Whether it's an intro, right. I know we mentioned it a while ago. We mentioned it back in like James Allen's episode, because he wrote one for us, which we didn't end up using. But I think we need to really actualize what this is, just to make it clear to us and to other people. These are the conversations that happen in hotel rooms and back rooms and 2:00 in the morning at conventions.
Yeah, we're a bunch of drug addicts
at magic conventions.
Yeah.
That we're trying to bring to you guys. And this is the stuff that takes 10 years to learn. We're trying to isolate from somebody in 1 hour. And the stuff that has made careers, we're trying to give to you. And I'm going to find a way to really word that, to make it clear what this is. But for those of you that have been here for 100 episodes, you all know what this is, and it exists because of you. So thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Tyler. And boy, are you going to love the shirts that come out. And double boy, are you going to love the next batch of episodes. So wait.
Oh.
We never do this with the You and I episodes, but wrap up. We're not going to do all the questions, but just the major one. One take home, not from this. I know we kind of did it with the lessons, but like, fuck it. We repeat our questions all the time.
Yeah.
Take home, not from this episode.
So how did you get into magic?
No.
Okay.
Not from this episode, but from the last 100. What should people take home?
Stop doing the banana bandana.
I think about that all the time. I saw this list of like top 5 magicians somewhere, and the last one was a clip of this guy doing banana bandana. I'm like, how the fuck
are you
this guy magician? Make the list?
Let me think. A good take home.
That's how our guests feel. I kind of feel that.
Yeah, Jesus. Because
we put a lot of pressure
scrolling.
On
yeah, now I feel so sorry for them, because I'm scrolling through 100 episodes, whereas they're like 10 years of professional magic. God, I hate to fucking say this. I really hate for 100 episodes to go by and for this to be my answer, but you gotta be yourself. And like, it's annoying to hear that. You get told that like through high school, and then you're told that all the time. And like, oh, you want to be a successful basketball player? The key is be yourself. Or like, you know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make sense, but it's so true. Like, if you want to succeed at what you do, you have to be yourself while doing it.
And obviously those feel like words until you learn what that means, you know? And like, you really put into perspective in this episode what it meant for you, where like when you started this, it was like, shit, I have a podcast, now I have to be a professional magician, right? And then you're like, wait, that's not the case at all. Like, I have other passions and loves that I want to do.
You're like, oh, do you do magic professionally? Like, not for all of my income, but I do have a podcast. Yeah. Like, that's another thing. That's another way to be a magician. And that's how you learn what yourself is. So it's definitely legit. What about you?
I would say, and again, like I always, when I think about the lessons of the podcast, I'm thinking about it very meta, like about the podcast and not about the actual info coming in from the podcast. But I hope that makes sense, that sentence. But maybe it will in a minute. Is do a thing. Do a thing. Like, do a thing. Like, this is something that I know that it's like almost bad.
I don't know if that about sentence made sense, but like, do a thing, do a thing, do a thing, do a thing.
But I hope totally cleared it up. No, that did it?
For me, yes, but I know who you are. So like, the person at home might be
about is, I mean, like, it's about the fact that we make a podcast and not about anything that's learned in the podcast. Right,
yes.
And when I say do a thing, like we're so proud of this. It's 100 episodes. It's just audio. It's just fucking microphones. Like, it's just interviews. It's just people. Like, it's just DMing. It's just, and it's all of that shit combined.
That's another thing I wanted to, more than just do a thing and put it online.
Yeah, but yeah, like, do something you're proud of. Like, just keep making, like do a thing and commit to it and tell the world. And you know what? After 50 episodes, after 20 episodes, after 20 releases, 50 releases, no one might care. You know, keep doing it. Like, keep doing it.
Yeah.
We've watched our numbers sometimes go, like, it's like goes up, and then it like goes down for 2 months, and I'm like, fuck yeah, people figured out that we have no credibility. Yeah. They're done with us. So and then it goes back up, and more people learn about it, and more people care, and we interview better and better people. So definitely the one thing that I just want to pass on and as a take home for me in every new thing is do a thing. And I'm going to be taking some more things under my belt. I'm going to be producing more video content, most likely for Toronto Magic Company, but I'm going to be siphoning some of that off for Jonah Badman's Magic, because we're going to be going around and doing magic for people and using it as promo for ourselves and for Toronto Magic Company. And, you know, I'm going to be more, you know, busier on Instagram and produce more stuff for you guys, the podcast, like some more products. And I have a little mini free course coming up about, you know, learning how to make a trick for yourself. So just do a thing. Just keep plugging, keep doing it, you know, like make something, fuck. Like, that's it. I mean, that's probably better than do a thing, but just like make something. Otherwise,
have a baby.
No. But otherwise, you have nothing to show for years of life, right? You just lived it. No, I don't mean that so negatively, but I mean, like,
no, I was laughing because my last point was have a baby, and then you're like, or else you have nothing to show for your years of wasted life.
No, but do you know what I mean by that? Like at the end of 2 years, 3 years, instead of being like, I just plowed. Every Monday was kind of the same.
Don't just consume, produce.
Yeah, and don't just.
And I don't mean in terms of like your production in society. I mean, like, if you sit at home and watch Netflix every day, start a podcast about your shows.
Yeah.
Start a podcast about what's coming out on Netflix.
Create, you know, don't just do, share. Don't just do, like, make the world a part of what you're doing. And I mean, I know it seems like, what now? What did I say now?
No, you didn't say anything. I have ADD. I'm sorry. You were like, I'm trying to come up with examples of like things that people do that aren't really beneficial and ways to do it. And the first thing that came to my head was like, all you do is sit at home and fucking eat food and masturbate, become a cam person and like share that with the world. People make money jerking off. Like, I don't know what you want.
Yeah. And I don't know, just to me, it's such a big deal. And, you know, you're all listening to this, which means you're a consumer, and I'm a consumer also. I consume a ton of information.
Yeah.
But I've learned the most in my magic by being a creator and a doer and an interviewer, and by planning shows and learning to record videos and making tricks and scripting stuff and sharing it and talking, like that's where all the growth has come in. So, and even if you're listening to this and magic is like a side hobby and you want to take this advice to be for elsewhere in your life, like just do a thing, man. Do a thing, share it, tag us. We need the hashtags, God damn it. But really, do a thing, and we're proud of you guys. Like, it's so cool to see people being like, "Hey, I did this like with the contest, like people like doing stuff. That was crazy." And just so glad you guys were a part of it.
Hashtag merch at 100.
Hashtag merch at 100. Anything else that you or I or anyone wants to say before?
Well, that was one of 5 wrap-up questions.
No, we're just doing that one, unless you want to do others. But
no, I guess that's it.
The one I thought of doing is the 2018-2019 world, because it's such a good question, and I feel like we can share it. Okay, let's do that, and then we'll call it, because like a new year, like 2018-2019 is, which I mean, it's not New Year's, but it's kind of like the new year of our podcast.
Yeah. I think it's awesome that we started at the time that the browser bash happens. That's like, we started after it, but that was when we officially like made it known that we were going to be having a podcast. And now like every time April rolls around, I'm like, oh shit, another one. We did it, which is really cool. So I guess you want me to go first. Sure. I love what people are doing with social media for magic, and I love the way people are using social media on magic. Magic on social media for magic, and I hate the way they're using magic on social media for themselves. I'm not.
Tell me what you mean by that.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that promoting yourself is a problem, but doing so in a way that is beneficial to magic. There's a lot of magicians out there who are getting lots of views by doing things that I think harm the community in general.
Relax. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, Jabrizi.
Paul Vu. I'm not a fan.
He did issue an apology and take down the video.
I don't care. I don't like even just the content he makes in general.
Right.
I'm not a fan of, because like it's just bad. Right. It's just bad for me. I understand why people watch it. I understand why that's the video I get tagged in and not an actual magic performance. Mm-hmm. But like for me, I'm not a fan. And it's not just those 3. There's a lot of that going around, and there's a lot of spiteful stuff. Like I literally read something about how because of what Jabrizi did, he should be set on fire and like burned like an actual witch or something. I was just like, man, shut the fuck up. Just calm down. He's not destroying your livelihood. Your shit personality is. Like, I don't like, I'm sorry. Like that really bothers me. But there's also stuff like, Conjurer community and people just sharing stuff on Instagram, like, not Sean O. His content is just amazing. It's just amazing.
And
it's new and exciting.
It's huge on Reddit and like break shares it on Facebook.
Yeah, exactly. It's getting magic in the right feeds and cardistry. But yeah. And I think that technology is my answer to both things I do and do not like. And what about you?
I would say I'll start with what I don't like so we can end on a positive note. But what I'd say is what I don't like about magic in a 2018-2019 world is, and this is going to sound maybe mean, especially going against everything that I've said, but that everyone's
people starting magic.
No, but it's kind of actually like that, but not really. But it's like everyone's voice has an equal weight, Yeah. And the haters are heard just as loudly as the encouragers, just as loudly as the people who deserve to have their name heard, because your name does not equate to your Instagram followers or something.
Right.
Like the biggest guy in the world could comment on your thing, but he's got 150 things posts, like followers on Instagram, because he doesn't do that shit, but he commented on it. But then some guy who's got 3,000 followers on Instagram gives you hate, and you're kind of like, who's more important? You know, so it's just, there was once a time before social media where you'd be like, who is this guy? Is he important? Is he not? And like now you can almost infer that, but sometimes incorrectly. And anyways, it's a weird comment, but I guess the thing I dislike is that people can hate on you just as easily as they can be positive. And of course, if you're someone listening to this, be positive. Or if you have hate, send an email and make it constructive and don't be a jerk. And the thing that I like about it, kind of almost stepping off of social media, but I've learned, with the Toronto Magic Company and with what I'm seeing happening with the Chicago Magic Lounge and all these different places, that magic, real live magic in people's faces, but on social media as well, but real doing magic for people, and it's thriving. And maybe I'm just seeing that because my magic is growing and thriving, but it just seems like, Derek Delgadio's show was amazing. I've seen it 2 times, and like these huge shows like Chris Angel's show now is getting a lot of love. I remember a while ago, a lot of people didn't like his show, but he's changed it all up, and it's getting a lot of love right now. And magic is on America's Got Talent, and it's just everywhere. And people, I talk to my Uber driver and I say I'm a magician. He goes, "Oh, me and my son watched that Fool Me show." And I'm like, yes, you don't know what you're saying, but yes. Right? And like, it's just in the public eye, and such amazing magicians are in the public eye. And I'm just so proud to see where magic's going, and I'm so happy to be along for the ride in what I mark as the best era of magic ever.
What a time to be alive.
What a time to be alive. With that, thank you guys so much for being here. To 100 more episodes. We'll see y'all. Keep sharing, keep the love, and as always, we'll see you next Thursday.
Take care.
Peace.